We're back, and this is going to be the last video in step 2 or part 2. And we left off the last time. I showed you a little bit about bringing in stock photo to create your header image. And today, what we want to do is if you want to customize it a little bit more, to be able to use the image editor. There are two different types of image editors. Well, there's quite a few, but the most popular one would be Canva.com and there's PicMonkey.com. I'm going to use Canva because I have an account with Canva and it's what I use the most. So the first thing I want to do is first let's look at this header a little bit more. I want to get the dimensions on it, so I'm going to go to Customize. And remember, in the last video, anytime you want to do something to the website, such as change colors, add background image or menus, you'll go to the Customize section. And I want to go back to this header image. And what I want to do is actually get these dimensions here, 1366 by 400. That's the dimensions of this particular header image. Depending on what theme you chose, those dimensions could be different. But I want these, and I'll show you in just a moment when we go to Canva, which I have up here already. There's a lot of different designs that Canva has. And if you remember the dimensions, let me go back real quick. It was 1366 by 400. So you can certainly go on Canva, and if you kind of mouse over the particular images, you can see if there is an image that kind of fits those dimensions. Right now, everything that I'm mousing over is, well, except for here for presentation. This one has 1920 by 1080, which is pretty large. It's definitely large enough for the header. But you can run into a problem because, especially when it comes to cropping, you can create a design and it may be too big and it may not fit quite the way you want it to. So really the best option is to not choose any of these pre-designs, but to go up and use custom dimensions, which is in the upper right hand corner. So I'm going to click on that. And what we're going to do is, as you can see, I already put this in. I did this earlier just to make sure. But I put in the 1366 as the width and the 400 as the height. And that's what we're going to work with. So we're going to hit design. And we'll let it come up with the dimensions that we need. It's loading a little bit slow. Okay, so if you kind of look at this, you can tell, just going back to where we were, this dimension, this is pretty much about the same what we need. Now, Canva's really nice. They give you some designs over here that you can choose from, but you can see right away it's going to be kind of hard to fit some of these heights and widths into what we have. You can certainly try. And I definitely suggest, unless you have a budget, that you kind of start with the free designs. You see those in the corner. I'm just going to scroll down to see if I see something that may fit into here. Like this looks like it's about the width. I'm going to click on it. But, if you're not really looking for cactus, this may not be what you really want. And notice when you click on it, what it'll do is it'll kind of try to resize itself into the design. So I don't particularly want to work with that one. So just to save time, the best thing to do here is to just work with this white background and kind of fill it in. So it's going to take a little bit of design skills, but I don't want you to be scared about that because you can do this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you some elements that you may or may not use on the side because you may be a person who wants to come and, oh, this is design, I want to try this. Well, I'm going to show you how you can start from scratch. Really easy. First thing you want to do is we don't want a white background. We want a little bit of color. So let's go over to the left side where it says background. And you can kind of choose one of these backgrounds down here. Most of the time you can change the color of them. So just for our purposes, I'm going to start with this red, kind of a dark red. And so if I want to change the design, I can, or change the color, I can go up to the top and change the color at any time that I want to. Say if I want it purple or this green. But for now, I think I'm just going to stick with that kind of reddish color that was there before. So you can do that. That's real easy. You can choose, a solid color. Keep it really simple. Now, say you want your name on the header. Say, we can actually remove this, just going back to design. We don't have to have it up here. You can have the title of your website on the design. So let's do that. And to do that, you want to go to text. And I always start with the big header. So I'm going to click add heading. And let's just say this is an author website. So what you want to do is probably more than likely you want to use your name. And I'm going to just come up with a name, say Susan Johnson. Okay. And say she's a romance author. I'm looking at this red and I'm thinking, maybe she wants her header to have a little bit of, script or something. So I'm going to change the font a little bit. Now, one thing about choosing fonts is if you choose one of these curvy script types, you also want to make sure that it's readable. So usually what I do is I try to make it as large as I can get it without it being, too large because it just makes it easier to read. And I think I'm going to try this in the center. Okay. And so most authors, they usually have a tagline. And you can just click on the add subheading. And let's see, I'm trying to come up with this on the fly. I mean, it could be something as simple as romance author. Or maybe she has a tagline, writing romance for, I don't know, baby boomers. Maybe she's a different type of romance writer. She's writing a specific type of romance. I'm sure I could come up with something else, but that's what was on my mind. So I think I want to go a little bit bigger with her name and maybe a little smaller with this subheading. I also might change that font. Let's see, just a little bit. It's in all caps, so I'd like to try something different. Let's go up a little bit. I always like if you're going to use a script font for, say, the title, I like to go with something that's a little bit more cleaner for whatever the subtitle or tagline will be. Just because it kind of, it's a good contrast to each other. So we'll go with that. Now say you're like, well, suppose I want a picture. Suppose you want the author photo. Well, in that case, you do have the ability to do uploads. And if you notice over here, I have a lot of uploads because I use Canva a good bit for my social media. And I actually have some covers that are from my clients because I do book cover design. So I think what I'm going to do is pull one of these over. Let's say I'll just use this one. So you can go ahead and all you have to do is upload your images from your hard drive. So you can see it's real easy to bring in a book cover and say, now that I did that, I probably want to move this over. Maybe keep the book cover to the side. And you can you can tilt it if you want to, or you can keep it, the way you want it. If you have a lot of book covers, for example, I have quite a few book covers I've done for Vanessa Miller. I'm gonna get rid of that one for a second. If you have a lot of book covers, say, maybe your last 3 releases, book releases, if you want to show all of those, you can kind of bring in as many book covers as you want. So you can see it's just a matter of being able to size them up in such a way to bring over another one. I think, yeah, let's try this. This is another one from Vanessa Miller. So you can see, you can, bring over as many book covers as you want. And if you had an author photo in here, you can kind of do it the same way. So I am going to change this. Now that I have Vanessa Miller here to her name, just for the purposes of this demo. And I think I want to change this. I keep looking at this Roboto font. I'm not really sure I like it. It's the designer in me. Sorry, I kind of want to play. And this is something you want to take your time with, because once you put this out, it's representative of your website. This header is what people will see on every page of your website. So you want to kind of take your time and make sure you put something up that you like. I think I'm just going to go with Times New Romans for this. I kind of want something, I want something that kind of matches, because I've done her covers. I'm looking for something that kind of matches some of the text on her cover. So there you go. That's a real simple way to do a cover. Now, say you kind of want to play a little bit more. You can always add another page. And this is something I like to do. I like to play with different designs and then choose the one that I really like. So say I'm not really sure I like red. I'm going to go back and change the color. Let's say I wanted it more purple or more pink. You can kind of use this color wheel to find something else. I like that. Kind of like that. So I'm going to stick with that. And I could start all over again and choose add text again. I like to do some shortcuts. So what I'm going to do is grab this Vanessa Miller up here. You can hit copy. And then once you copy it, you can take it and then just drag it down. Real quick and easy. And I also want the tagline. So I'm going to copy this. And the reason why I'm doing this is because sometimes you just want to test out some designs. You want to sit and play for a while. At least that's what I do when I'm doing a mock-up for book covers or even for some ebook covers, social media. I try to take the time to kind of really play and see, like, do I really want to keep this script? Maybe I like the script for the tagline. So I'm going to change this up a little bit. And let's see. I kind of like this. I keep looking at this font. I haven't used anything like this before. This looks like a really fun font to use. And I think I'm going to make it a little bigger. And then you see what I'm doing? I'm keeping this really simple. I think when people get into Canva, simple to me works best. And then you can kind of, keep playing and building up the design until you get something that you want. Let's see, I'm going to change that back to maybe that. I think something more, yeah. So you can kind of see, and I think what I want to do for this one, since I have book covers for this one, I don't know if I have a picture. I'm going to go back to uploads and see if I have a person I can pull in. So I did an anthology a while ago, and I had some authors in that anthology. So I think I'm going to pull over. Her name is not Vanessa. Her name is actually Rochelle. So I think I'm going to pull her in. And just because I know who she is, I'm going to change out her name. Rochelle Carter. And this background reminds me of something Chicklet. I don't think Rochelle writes Chicklet, but let's see. I don't know. Chicklet 4. I don't know. I got baby boomers on my mind. I don't know why. So we're gonna do that. So as you can see, you can do a lot of different things. I think because I have her on the side, I'm gonna move this back over. And then put this right underneath. Maybe make this smaller. You can sit, or I can sit and play with design for hours. So I don't want to take up too much time on this video. But so this is, really simple. If you want to add a little bit of elements to this, there's another section on here that maybe folks maybe don't pay attention to. There's free photos. And if you don't want to go to stock photo, they usually have some free photos in here. Like I think I want to look for something with flowers. And click the search. Ooh, now this is cool. This actually is really cool because I can see this matching up really good with this color and this font. So I'm just going to move this picture over. I'm just resizing this picture. Now this is how you can kind of put a little bit more design into what you're working on. Let's see how that looks. Let's see. I'm going to try. What else do they have here? Kind of want to stick with the same colors. I think I'm going to take this and copy it. And I wonder, I'm going to see if I can flip it over. If it'll let me flip it over. Actually, I've never done that before. Let me look at arrange. It's back. Sorry, I'm wondering. Now, if I was in Photoshop, I know there's a way that this could be flipped over. And so I really want to, but I don't see a good way to do that. You can definitely tilt it, which maybe I'll do that for now. I just kind of wanted it in the corner on the side. And then I'm going to move this up. Okay. All right. Well, you kind of get the hang of it. So those are two different headers. Um, you can put a frame around this, going back to elements. And let's see. Let me get this flowers off here so I can get back to the other elements. I think that'll do it, maybe. Or not. Let's click on elements again. There we go. Um, Frames. I want to click on frames for a second because, her picture is okay the way it is, but I'm thinking, what if we put something around it? I was thinking something circular because I have these kind of circular flowers. So let's see. Frames are actually really good for adding other elements to your website. Looking for something circular. Okay, now I think I'm getting here. Let me try this. And the way this works is you drag your photo into it, and you see what it just did? It kind of made what was just, square, gave a little bit of a nice border. And I want the flower, let's put this back because I want the flower to kind of be in front of it. See how the flower is in front? And maybe I'll slide this over a little bit. So, not really the shape I wanted. I kind of still wanted something more circular, but for just the purposes of this, I wanted you to see how you can take really simple elements. Just, starting with the background color, add your text, find a nice font. You can come up with something really nice and neat for your website. And because I like this so much, I'm going to use this second one. Now, when you get ready to download, it's going to want to give you all of them, all the pages. So I just want the second one. So I'm going to click options and put 2 because that's kind of like page 2. And then I just want to download that one. And that's the one I'm going to pull into our design. And once we pull it in, then I'm going to show you some other things that you can do as well. So we're going to save it as a header on our website. And then we'll go back to the design. And what I want to do is hit add new image. And I'm going to upload, find that file on the hard drive. And then I'm going to upload it to the website. And hopefully I figured out where I put it. Let's see. I don't know which folder I put it in. Oh, let's start that again. Let's go back and see if I can figure out where I saved it. So we're going to download, hit to image, save your design. And save file as, oh, okay, I think I see where I put it now. I put it under the WordPress website. Got it. All right, so don't be like me, not knowing where you save things. All right, so now we're going to go back up And I have to go to the folder where I know I saved it. And there you go. All right, so we're going to upload that. We're going to select and crop. And there's not much cropping to do. Now, if you went and chose a design that was much larger than this, you would start to see where you would have a problem where you might have designed it really big, then there's not really a way to resize it. All it lets you do is crop it. So this is, perfect dimensions. As you can see, it, shows up just fine. But now because I have Rochelle Carter in here, there's some things I want to change. Under site identity, it says display site title and tagline here. I'm going to check that off because I don't need that anymore. And see how much different the website looks now. It's starting to look a lot different. This is how you take a theme and you really customize it to fit what you need it to do. So what we're going to do, we're going to save and publish this, and we'll come back in the next video. We'll go on into step 2. We're going to talk about creating pages, and I'm also going to slightly introduce you to plugins. When you're working on this website, you're live, and you don't really want people to see your website until it's really ready. So I'm going to show you how to add in a maintenance plugin that will put a coming soon page as you work on your website. So that will be what we're going to work on next.